Greetings, fellow shippers. I don't know about all of you, but I loved Captain America Civil War. But while most people came out with their love for Stucky affirmed, this movie reminded me of my deep love for the pairing of Tony Stark and Natasha Romanoff, in the ship known as Iron Widow. This is Shipper's Guide to the Galaxy, and let's get right to it. Tony Stark and Natasha Romanoff actually have a canon romantic history in the comic verse, with the two dating when Natasha first comes to America. The relationship ends when Stark discovers that she is in fact a Soviet spy who is using him to try and get close to his technology. But Tony's feelings at the end of the story are that of pity for the type of nomadic life she leads. We're talking early days here, people. Tales of Suspense 52, which also marks the Black Widow's first appearance back in 1964. In the 80s, Black Widow officially defected to the States and joined the Avengers, wherein she once again briefly resumed her relationship with Iron Man. And while the two went their separate ways romantically, they remained close friends and allies throughout the years, and have been known to occasionally, depending on the universe and what's going on, have a hookup here and there. The filmverse gives us an already S.H.I.E.L.D. operative, Natasha, working as Tony's assistant while she spies on him and collects data. Yet despite this, the two again become teammates and friends. Okay, so not a lot of people ship this, so because of that, we'll do the why wouldn't you ship it portion first this time. Well, the two don't have much interaction and are perpetually involved with canon ships that are much more well known now. For example, Black Widow and the Winter Soldier, Black Widow and Daredevil, Black Widow and Captain America, Tony and Pepper, Tony and everybody. They are also both strong-headed individuals who stand by their principles even when they are on opposite sides. And their tendency to be in serial relationships make them seem like maybe they are not exactly inclined towards monogamous relationships. There is also the element of Natasha having betrayed Stark in both the comic and film verses, meeting him under false pretenses to manipulate and observe him, which many would feel is not the best foundation for a relationship, especially given how Iron Man can hold a grudge. Also, let's be honest, Tony Stark is often portrayed as deeply flawed and as giving in to those flaws. Some simply feel that Black Widow deserves better than that. Well, with all that said, why do people ship it? Well, sit back and get ready to dive into some subtext. Both Tony Stark and Natasha Romanoff are actually very similar. They both go through life having to present masks of themselves, even though their identities are for the most part often known. Natasha, as a spy, regularly has to pretend to be someone she is not, while Tony has to negotiate his public persona with his more damaged private one. They both have experience with regret based on their own choices, as well as traumatic pasts, and are familiar with not being the person they wish they were. Because of this, they have both seen behind the other's masks to the person beneath, and greeted what they saw with understanding rather than revulsion. Natasha is keenly aware of Stark's mental state as well as his drinking problem and his PTSD, and is one of the few people who actually cares enough to ask if he's okay. Spoiler alerts for anyone who hates knowing anything, even the smallest details of a movie, including just one scene. Get out now, one Civil War scene spoiler ahead. In Civil War, when Tony is really struggling, there is a moment when Black Widow looks at him and asks him, "Are you okay?" Something no other character takes the time to ask, and his gratitude is clear, even if his answer is a lie. It's a genuine moment between two people who know each other well and will continue to come together, even in less than ideal circumstances. They both also have a lot of guilt and are perpetually trying to atone for past actions that can never fully be absolved, and they have a tendency to sometimes choose the wrong course of action and pick the wrong side. While such guilt could potentially be overwhelming, it could also be a burden the two could shoulder together. On a happier note, because we need one, Stark knows how to have a good time, and Natasha has a small wild side that she could and has explored with Stark. The two have the potential to heal each other from their pasts by being able to show how broken they are to each other and slowly leaning on the other to overcome it. They're both lonely souls looking for a place to belong, though on the surface they should have no reasons to be left out. Natasha won't stand for any of Stark's nonsense, and he would be more than capable of giving her the space she needs. These two could clash passionately or sensually, with equal likelihood. There isn't a huge fan base for this, but the one that there is quite intriguing based on the variety of fics out there. Plenty of them revolving around the two being able to reveal secrets to the other, kind of operating as an us against the world type of couple. I have to take a moment now to shout out an amazing fic called Always Hate Me by Coffee and Arrows that you can go find on Archive of Our Own, and I'm going to link it down below, about Tony and Natasha and just having a great discussion after everything that happened in Civil War. It's a really great character study, and if you're at all interested in these two romantically or just as friends, you should go check it out. Unlike many ships, this one doesn't lend itself well to fluff. These two are damaged, but while their romance may not be a madcap romantic comedy, it has the potential to be deeply heartfelt. Both of these two have the capacity to feel deeply and can potentially provide the other with healing. The kind of love that lifts you up and lets you be the person you want to be, while still allowing you to be the one you need to be as well. I have hopes, and people like Coffee and Arrows are fueling them, for many a fix-it fic following Civil War. I like to think that these two are still in contact and that they both have a shoulder to cry on, because they both really need one. I'm also a sucker for the two sleeping in the same bed in a non-sexual way to stave off each other's nightmares, and people mistaking it for them constantly hooking up. And finally, in my own little headcanons, I am totally here for Aunt Nat. I love the domestic Avengers, I love the super family, I'm so glad that we got one half of the super dads going on, so reconciliation needs to come fast so we can have the whole super family. What did you guys come out of Civil War shipping? Was it Iron Widow? Come on, don't leave me hanging, people. Share all your ships down below. I always love reading about your guys' favorite ships and why you love them. This was Shipper's Guide to the Galaxy. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Check out social media to stay up to date, and as always, stay tuned, for there are as many ships out there as there are stars in the sky.